Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I think everyone's looking forward to physical visits once again. It's been a tough number of months staying away from family and friends. I think everyone's fed up with Zoom and WhatsApp calls now, and just being physical proximity of another person, which was just such a normality before, but we probably didn't grasp the appreciation that we should have had and the blessing of that. So alhamdulillah, we're now looking forward to that. But I was thinking about how visits used to be in the past when I was a kid, which was quite some time ago, before internet, before mobile phones, before WhatsApp, before Zoom, any of this kind of stuff. People used to turn up at your house, right? You would be sitting in the sitting room and you just see a car pull up, you'd look at the window and shout, "Bronny!" That's what we used to shout. It basically means guests. And you'd go and get you'd obviously welcome them, you'd make the tea, you'd bring out whatever food you had, because you didn't have time to prepare. You just bring out whatever cake you've got, whatever biscuits you've got, you'd bring out your tea set, and you'd sit down and offer whatever you had, and that was it. It was quite simple. There was a beauty to the simplicity. There was no prep, there was no, and if it wasn't a good time, you would just say, look, people, nobody's home, they've gone wherever, and the visitors wouldn't feel agitated that I've come all the way. They'd say, okay, fine, we'll just come back another day. So there was a kind of beauty to that kind of very natural way of visiting. And I think fast forward to the way we visit now, I think it's like anything, it's become very complicated. Everything seems to be so complicated now, and now we have to tell people in advance. We have to make sure the date is correct. We have to send a reminder, and then what happens is the host thinks, okay, now I need to put out a spread. It's no longer I can just take out whatever I had in the house. I need to go and shop. I need a day to prepare for my guests coming. And there's this idea of takalluf. Takalluf is like just burdening yourself. And I think what's happened is we've made visiting one another burdensome. And then what happens when something's a burden, what happens? You avoid it, isn't it? So what happens over time is you start visiting even less. And then we have a lot of this stuff going on in our heads. We fear being judged. We fear that, what are people going to say? We feel that they might not say we're hospitable. All of this stuff, which really, wasn't as big before because of the nature of natural kind of visiting. And I think we kind of lose sight that people are coming not for the food, they're coming for your company. That's what they're really coming for. And if you're busy in the kitchen, right, you're the host, you're busy in the kitchen, then the visitor feels bad that I've put you through all this difficulty, and then it puts them off visiting. And the purpose of the visit, which was to spend time with you, well, half the time you spent in the kitchen, and then you're all stressed and stuff, so you can't really enjoy yourself. It doesn't really make the whole experience enjoyable. So I think we need to go back to this idea of making visiting one another light. I mean, at-tazawuru fillah, visiting people for the sake of, or one another for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is part of our religion, and it's something which is emphasised. And the Prophet used to visit his Sahaba. But again, did they used to put out a big spread? Whatever the food they had, a couple of dates, some water, whatever, that was it. You just put out whatever you have. So I think we need to get away from thinking we need to feed people when they come. Just, don't overdo things. Put out one dish. We've got plenty of food. They've seen that type of food before. If you put 50 types of food, they've seen it before. They say an Eid, right? They don't need to see it every time they come visit you. A simple cup of tea, a biscuit. And remember, that is not the focus. The focus is you. The focus is the company and spending time with that person. And now that we've been starved of it for so long, we really appreciate it. So inshallah, as we go back to visiting, please, please, please do not make it a burden, so that we stop doing this important aspect of our faith. We need to revive the sunnah of visiting one another, and that can only be revived if we make it light and less burdensome for each other. So inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to basically start visiting one another more regularly, but to make it nice and easy and light. And there's etiquettes of visiting as well. You shouldn't make the visit too long, so it's not burdensome. You don't come at midnight, right? You come at a decent time of the day. And also things like you wait to be seated because your host might not want you to sit in that particular seat. Okay, so so there's certain etiquettes as well, but the idea of it is the overall idea is to make it light. Even when you visit the sick, you're not supposed to stay too long. You're supposed to make it a very light visit. So it's really about the quality of it, inshallah. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam taslim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.